I'm going to try to stay away from, oh, the archive has started. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is give the presentation and at the same time also record it with Wimba so that all those people who are missing today, because they're at the other presentation, can have the opportunity, if they're interested, to go in and look at the recording later. Okay, and I'm going to use the desktop sharing function for my talk today because I want to show a PowerPoint that also has some links in it. And if I load up a PowerPoint into Wimba, then and show it through Wimba, I can just show the slides, but it doesn't have the functionality with the links and everything. So let me share this. So everybody who would log on now would see exactly, I can define, I'm going to share my desktop so they see everything that I'm seeing. Okay, wait a minute. Here. Okay. Now I'm going to switch over to the PowerPoint and start right from the beginning. Okay, so welcome to the Zero Budget STEM Co-curricular Student Learning Opportunity in Convenient Online Format, the popular STEM Talks. Maybe I should have used less words and I would have had more people in here. But yeah, those bad news about the money might be, good news for the popular STEM Talk series, because I think this can accomplish a lot for enriching student curriculum and also enriching, the extracurricular activity of the faculty for absolutely zero money. Okay, yeah, and this is just sort of, the structure that I'm going to do with this talk today. Let me start with the purpose. Originally and still, the purpose for the popular STEM Talk series is, well, to raise interest in STEM topics in students, and also faculty and staff are welcome to attend these talks. So they're pretty much for everyone. For students, a co-curricular learning opportunity. So some instructors give extra credit for their students to attend. I have a sign-up sheet in general, and also Wimba keeps track of who attends and for how long. You can actually check that too. Since it's a popular talk, no science background is required. So if you decide to come and give a talk for this series, start at the very bottom and try to leave out as much math as you can. Try to talk from a conceptual point of view. And I usually feel, with everything that we have to cover in class, especially in physics and chemistry and biology, it's very regimented. They take entry tests once they're done with our stuff. So there's really not a lot of freedom, and people might be involved with research, or, they might be very passionate about issues, or, even some issues that are on the curriculum, but they'd like to go more in depth with and never have the opportunity. This would be a great framework for them to do so. Hot button issues for society, global warming, the tsunami that just occurred. So all this can be tied in, and it can get people excited in STEM if they find out a little bit of the background. Yeah, I mentioned that. Professional activities opportunity. So, we don't have any travel money. People can come and obviously can put this on their semester profile. Hey, I gave a presentation, I had some professional activity, so that definitely counts, and it doesn't cost anything. You can talk about anything. You may already have a talk ready. If you have some research that you did earlier, or, for example, Fred Boole, who he also likes to give talks to the Atlanta Astronomical Society, or no, Atlanta Amateur Astronomy Club, that's what it is. And yeah, he usually has a talk ready and gives it at several locations. So that would be great. And especially I used to earlier, not in the past 2 years, but several years ago, I used to get some adjunct or temporary GPC faculty, that talked about what they were doing at the CDCs, for example. One was involved with the stockpile, the emergency stockpile of stuff that they keep on hand in case of, natural and unnatural disasters. I had a student once who was actually working for the GBI, and he took my astronomy class, but he was the coordinator of the Internet Crimes Against Children workforce over there, or task force. So he came and gave a talk. That was very interesting. Yeah, just a brief word about the history. It started out very early in 2002 as a popular science talk, and it was sponsored by the Decatur Campus Science Club, of which I happened to be the faculty advisor at the time. But then eventually I transferred to online, and the Decatur Science Club was no more, but the whole STEM initiative starting up. So I figured, why not expand it from science to STEM? It was just like a natural thing to do. I did a brief stint with the GSAM technology, but that didn't work out too well because I had to coordinate with many different people on many different campuses, and then I had trouble getting the rooms reserved all at the same time, and then I had trouble getting the sign-up sheets to come in, and it was just a nightmare. So I decided, let's just go with WIMBA. It's much easier to do. I can use a regular classroom with internet access, and then whoever cannot come to this one location, where the live speaker and the live audience will be, then they can attend online. And I can even record it at the same time. Granted, it's not high quality professional, but it's immediately, just a couple of minutes after this talk is done, it's going to be available online. People can view the recording through WIMBA, or they can download it as MP3 or MP4. So it's really flexible. Quick and dirty, but it works, as opposed to some other things that with the GSAMs and professional recording, the turnaround time is much too long. Let's see. Yeah. Now, since I've been experimenting with this series, I'm sort of getting a little bit more sophisticated each cycle. So now I've figured out, well, okay, it used to be that speakers just had their PowerPoint in the WIMBA frame, and then I would advance it for them. But then once the PowerPoint is in the WIMBA frame, there is no functionality of links, or if they want to go to other websites or something. But what I'm doing now is that they run their PowerPoint on the classroom computer like they're used to, with all the links and everything. And then I run it through the WIMBA frame, but then separately I have, the links open and go to the links or whatever animations or what have you, in sync with them. We just have to coordinate if I'm not quite there yet for the online audience that the speaker pauses for a moment. But, the speaker just does his or her stuff, doesn't worry about the technology, I'm trying to make it work over here. So that's sort of the thing. This is the WIMBA frame that comes up, and usually I have the PowerPoint loaded up through the e-board, and then I get, actually you'll see that in the next slide, there are a whole bunch of other, you can annotate things if I wanted to, but of course not while the speaker is talking. What I'm doing right now, I'm sharing my desktop. So, that has the advantage that now I can run all the programs on my computer, with links and everything. But the disadvantage is I don't see any feedback from the audience. So, if someone in the audience were to email me now, that they've lost audio, or, something happened, or, like putting that into the chat box, or, they would do any of the audience things like raise their hand or smiley or frowny or whatever, I wouldn't be able to see that in the share mode. So that's sort of the disadvantage of running it that way. But I can use all the links, so I'm just doing that intermittently. Okay, this is what the WIMBA frame would look like with a talk in it. Here you have the little grainy video, but you can move that any way you want. Students can move that around. They can close it if they want to. So, and this is one of the magnificent images. And this is also, where teachers can show a little bit, where they've been on trips, or this was a geology presentation by Dr. Stewart from Dunwoody campus. I'm not sure if he actually was there, but it's just sort of, they can let loose a little bit and, show some really gorgeous things. This Two Caves talk, if you get an opportunity, you should look at it. These caves that he was talking about, they just they were out of this world. So, yeah, in case people are a little bit self-conscious about having to be on video, it's going to be small and grainy, so they're not going to see anything. Just, okay, somebody's moving around and talking, and there's some sort of PowerPoint in the background, and that's pretty much it. But the emphasis is going to be on the PowerPoint slide. Okay, yeah, this I just wanted to show, the room is where the live talks happen, but whenever the talks are recorded, they get a separate file. So these are all the popular STEM talks that I've been recording over the past couple of years. So then each recorded archive gets its own link. And I can open it, close it. Here's the tracking function, which I'm going to show you also, where it records, when students come in and how long they stay. Yeah, we talked about that already. But yeah, each archive is then independent. I guess before I get back to that, I want to introduce our new website. And the popular STEM Talks now have their own website that is part of the GPC STEM initiative. And thanks very much, Cynthia. So I basically sent her the link and all the information, and then, she put it up there. And yeah, the advantage of that website is it's sort of like a one-stop shop. And people can go there, can check there for new talks. We have links to the actual talk, but we also have links to the PowerPoints of those instructors who have, given permission. So we ask, we just don't, put stuff up there without permission. And then I've also sorted it by discipline that might be more efficient to use for people, especially if you're like a biology professor and you'd like to direct students, to a certain direction. And then also by date, that's just by default. So let's see if we can bring up that link. That doesn't take too long. Yes. Something will be sticking around with D2L, I think. As far as I know, they should be. Well, if not, then I'm going to try my best to download everything on MP3 and MP4. Yeah, but that's definitely something we need to find out, because Wimba and Illuminate, which is used to be a competing product, now they were, I think, all bought out by Blackboard, and yeah, so definitely, anything technology related is in flux. So yeah, we definitely have to address these issues. Can we preserve our things? Okay, yeah, let me just show you. Click here. So they're listed by subject. It's kind of interesting. I have one anthropology talk about science and death, and that comes, first because it's listed alphabetically. But it sort of draws people in, and then. Yeah, that's a very intriguing subject and beautiful pictures. So yeah, that was one of the good ones. But yeah, then we have biology, chemistry. So unfortunately, chemistry, that's the first talk. I don't have any recorded ones yet, but that's coming up on October 11th, actually this week. So I'd like to have more chemistry talks by now, because we have tons of chemistry faculty. But I'm just asking for volunteers. So whoever volunteers, I'm going to put on the program, and that's just, the nature of the beast. Yes. Yeah, 45, 50 minutes, and then, 10 minutes for questions. Yeah, then mathematics, only one. So obviously we can use a lot more. Well, we have plenty of science talks, and I'd like, of course I like that. I don't want to say no to any more scientists. Definitely yes, but we do need more technology, E for engineering, and M for math. We definitely need more TEM talks. in addition to all the plentiful S talks that we have. Okay, let's see, let me go back to the PowerPoint, which is hanging out somewhere. Here. Okay. Yeah. Well, something else that I'm planning is, when I send out the announcement through GenMail, or soon to be the JAG list, about the upcoming talks and about the archives, I have a little blurb, and I figured, well, if teachers are going to send their students there for extra credit, they may want to have a rough idea of what the talk might be about. So I'm planning on, putting maybe another little, I don't know if it's going to be a link off of that or posted right there, just a little blurb of what the talk, like a summary or teaser, something like that. And in general, getting into the room or the archive is pretty simple. You just click on the link, and then I think first you have to log in. There's no password required, even though there's this thing down here, but since I'm not giving out any passwords and it's not password protected, people can just enter with their name. And usually what I say in my announcement, log in with your real name, because if your instructor gives extra credit, you have to be able to be identified. So, and if people have never run WIMBA on their computer before, they want to go through the WIMBA, the setup wizard. It just takes a couple of minutes. So if you attend the talk for the first time, then you want to take maybe 10 minutes earlier to just, run the wizard. Okay, and here is sort of a printout of the tracking that I get. So it records, whatever screen name people use, so if they say like Purple 97, okay, then that's Purple 97, and that person is just not going to get any extra credit for attending. The room, the time entered, that's the date, and that's the time entered, and then also the length of the stay. And you'll see, I don't know if you can see it here, but there'll be another picture. Sometimes people have technical problems, so they'll be in there for a minute, and then they go back out, and then they'll come back in, and then they'll go back out. So, those might be the kinds of reasons. This is, okay, the previous slide was the attendance tracking of the archive. This is the attendance record of the actual room. As you can see, it says displaying 453 records. Well, that's how many people have entered and exited out of the room in the past 2.5 years. So obviously I just copied the most recent set. And well, Bill was nice enough to have some technical problems. So you can see, he exited, entered, exited, and finally, he got it to work out and stayed in there for 50 minutes. So that's kind of an interesting little side thing. So yeah, a student can't just say, well, I attended, but you can also verify, did they stay there for an appropriate amount of time? Now, the other thing is, I don't know, I don't think it records if people download something or not and how long they would have to stay. So it might, if they're in there for 5 minutes, but they've downloaded the talk in another format, it doesn't keep track of that. Okay, this is like the sign-in sheet for the regular, live audience, so it's nothing technological, but it can be scanned in. And you can see people are already sending, usually the speaker, of course, announces the talk in his or her class. I announce all the talks in my classes, so there are usually a handful of my students attending in the WIMBA room. And we have the PSL-SAM program, for example, or MESA, STEP, and LISTM. They also like to send their students because it's like an extracurricular enrichment activity, that ties in well with their scholarly effort, that they want to be putting forth and showing in these types of programs. Okay, this is not from the speaker's perspective. Yeah, 50 minutes long. Assume that people have no background, and we want to get people excited, so try to stay away from too much math. That immediately pushes the panic button. And, oh my God, and they shut down with their functioning. Usually, what I do is I schedule on any afternoon that's convenient for the speaker. I usually schedule the talks on Clarkson campus. I'm doing early afternoon because I have to run home and pick up my son from the school bus in our subdivision at 3:30. So I'd like to get the talk started, no later than 1 or 1:30, that they end by 2 or 2:30. maybe can spill over until 3, but then things already get a little bit tight. Now, the setup that I'm trying out, I might be able to take that to other campuses and other locations too. But I just now, received that microphone from the STEM initiative. So I have to see how that works out. So that's still in the trial phases. So maybe in the future I might be able to take my show to other campuses and can come to the speaker's location rather than have everybody come here to Clarkson campus. Okay, yeah, we talked about the rest already, how the speaker runs it, and I run it parallel. Announcements, I usually send announcements to the JAG list. Used to be just, the email, but since we're switching over to JAG list. Then I also post a flyer of the upcoming talks, and this is actually the upcoming talk on Thursday at 1 p.m. This is posted on all of the GPC TV screens that you see on every single campus. Of course, the talks are so far at Clarkson campus, but I'm encouraging students by giving that. I think that might be an old link. Change this link to gpc.wimba.com. I have to change that link, so they'll probably get a broken link. But yeah, I might send that out with a reminder that the new link for that, this must be gpc.wimba.com. Okay. Yeah, this, just very briefly, I don't see it. Oh, there's a clock. How long do I have? Until 12:15 or something like that? 12:05? Okay, I'm going to wrap this up real quick. Yeah, we can skip over this. It turns out that the archives are actually visited, so there are more people that attend the archive than attend in class and live online. So the combined live audience is a little bit less than the archive, and that was also one of the reasons why I thought of putting all this on the web page, because the archives are already used more heavily than people coming to the live talk. So I really want them to be available for any faculty to use in any way they can or may fit them into their curriculum. So I wanted to push for speakers, for volunteers. I have a sign-up sheet with me, but maybe I should pass that around in the other room. But let me pass it around anyway. So if you're interested in volunteering for a talk at some point, it would be nice. I'm excited about just wait until that. Yeah, or volunteering students. In fact, I might try this out. I'm teaching astronomy honors online for the first time this semester. It's very exciting because they're actually the type of students that, yes, those are the types of students. That's how you envision students are. They turn their stuff in on time. They ask questions ahead of time on how to do it, and then they actually look at the feedback that you give them, and they're very excited and motivated to learn for whatever reason. But I mean, this has been really great. But yeah, I might actually make a couple of sessions, popular STEM sessions, like with my students, just have them give like mini talks, 7 minutes each or something like that. Okay, so feel free to share your questions, comments, and suggestions with me, and of course I'll keep sending out announcements, so you'll see my email address all over the place. And the more the better. I'm hoping that this initiative and the STEM talks are taking off a little bit more now. And thank you for coming today. Well, you're welcome. And I'm going to have to close the archive now.